Hello, this is Alycia, coming to you from my bedroom. And today I will be revising and going over everything that we've learned so far in our first term of this year. So I will be covering what we have learned, what we will learn in the future terms, and in between that I will be looking over and sort of polishing up my essay or development paragraph that we wrote as our finals exam that is based on the book of Mice and Men. And I'm going to explain to you what I would do if I had to redo this essay. So you're probably looking at the title right now seeing Alycia and Emil. Emil is not with me right now. Our schedule couldn't really line up, and so we decided to just do it on our own. So yeah. So first things first, what did we learn, or what were our learning objectives? It was to learn how to write a development paragraph in an academic style, just like the title says it in the title. So our first part was we learned how to write in a teal structure. So basically a teal structure is a topic sentence, which basically introduces your paragraph, or it shows what you're going to talk about in that paragraph and what you will be explaining. Then we explain the topic sentence, which basically gives in more context about the book, sort of like giving someone more information. For example, if someone didn't read the book of Mice and Men. Then evidence or examples, which is basically proof that you're answering the question. And then you explain your evidence, which means explaining your evidence. And then you finish off with the linking sentence, which is basically a way to conclude your paragraph in a way that relates or connects back to your topic sentence. That's why I added some arrows just to show what connects to what and what has to sort of come back to what. Next up, we learned how to insert a quote as an evidence. So we learned how to set up a quote, so giving more context about how it is in the book. So yeah, we insert the quote and we reference it for no plagiat. And then we explain why the quote, and it says the quote, but it's why the quote answers the question. So basically, this way of writing a paragraph is so much different than what we did last year, because what we did last year was a more brief version of that. It was topic sentence, evidence, and explanation of evidence, and then linking sentence. This way is a lot more specific in their ways, and I find that to be a lot more academic because of that. So yeah, so here is my beautiful paragraph in all of its glory. So I will be showing you and explaining to you what were my top three revisions or suggestions given to me by my teammates, Emil, Anthony, and Alexandra. I gave 3 examples from each of them, or 3 suggestions. So after they tagged me, this is what I came up with. So my first suggestion is add in detail about the topic sentence, so the first E. Because if we read it, it says, according to Steinbeck, true friendship requires loyalty and offers hope. Hope and loyalty, being a recurring theme in Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men, is shown to be a requirement to a true friendship. So my topic sentence is fine, could be a little bit more creative, but it's the explanation of it that's not quite clear to me and to everyone, because I sort of go over my words, which is not good, and I don't really explain more about the book or how this relates to the book. Even though I explain it more in the evidence, it's not showing the context of it or how the book sort of is part of that question, if you know what I mean. So I would do that, and to make it a little bit better. I would then, so my second suggestion is to set up the quotes in a way that adds info. So that that's what also is not quite understand, like I don't quite understand it, is that my second sentence is my explanation of my topic sentence and also my setup for the quote, which doesn't make sense, obviously. So I would change that. A good example that Alexandra gave me for my first quote is to say, as George discussed with Slim, because that is what happened in the book. George was talking to Slim about what happened in Weed. And so I would just set it up a little bit better than just starting with it after a sentence. And same thing for the other one. I might, as to say, set up is hope, which is something received by friendship, is shown by one clear element of the story. And then I just go on with it. Sorry. And so I would sort of explain it, or not explain it, set it up in a better way that's one, more creative, and two, explains more about the book and how the quotes are in the book. Explain my understanding of it, basically. And my third and final explanation, evidence, oh my god. My third and final suggestion is to explain the evidence with more detail. I do go not quite into detail, sort of just dip my toe in the water, sort of test the waters, but I don't go deep into it, which I feel like I should have done, because it would have shown my understanding a lot better. And so for my first quote, I would sort of go more into, well, in both quotes, I will go more into the themes. Since I don't really go into it, I sort of hint about it, I infer it, but I don't kind of say it out loud that I'm talking about this specific theme. Wait, sorry there, I actually pressed stop. So yeah, as I was saying, I sort of infer it, but I don't go really deep into it. So if I had to do it again, I would, for my first quote, go more into the friendship versus loneliness theme. And that is when it's shown how they have this bond, they have this friendship that other people don't have. And then, so that would be for my first quote. And for my second quote, I would go more into the American dream. My 3 classmates told me to do that because, again, it's not really mentioned, it's more hinted at. And so I would show how they have this hope together and this dream together that they would realize their American dream, even though the smallest thing in the world, for them it's like a huge accomplishment that has come from them being together and them sort of creating this friendship that is based around the fact that they would want to have that happen to them. So that would be what I would do to sort of polish or make my text a little bit better. So what's next? We are going to learn how to write an introduction to these development paragraphs. So I know that there's a hook in there somewhere. So basically an introduction just sort of introduces what you are going to be talking about without giving too much information. Sort of like giving a little bit of suspense while talking about what we will be talking about. And we will learn how to conclude a essay, sort of wrapping up everything without just re-saying everything step by step, just sort of making it more creative. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. I'm sorry for being a little bit late, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed and thank you so much. Bye.